Hello guys, welcome back to my channel once again. This video is going to be entirely about motorcycles, so if you're not somebody who's interested in motorcycles, I suggest you to stop watching this video right away, because this is purely a video for motorcycles, about this particular motorcycle which is standing with me right here. So if you're still here, then well and good, and let's get proceeded with me telling you about the negatives I felt about riding this motorcycle for a long amount of time. So first things first, I like to immediately tell that this motorcycle doesn't come with ABS even in the 2017 and 2018 models. I don't really know why the international model gets the ABS and the fuel injection, but this year's India's version of the Pulsar 200NS only gets the ABS, that too even as an option, not as standard. But fuel injection is clearly missing out on this motorcycle. That's the only motorcycle I believe which is holding this bike from being a very successful bike in the Indian market. Even cheaper bikes like the Gixxer SF and Gixxer and the FZ offers fuel injection, and the CV Hornet as well, but the Pulsar 200NS doesn't. I don't really know why, but because the NS200 definitely has a lot of potential to keep up with other 200cc motorcycles and can knock the competition, that is the KTM Duke 200, out of hand if it gets the fuel injection, because that's the only thing that's keeping it apart from destroying the market of the KTM Duke 200. So Bajaj, if you're watching this video by any chance, I request you to please install fuel injection into all your Pulsar 200NS models, because that's the key element which will boost up the performance of this bike all that much. The second very negative thing I felt about this motorcycle was shared to me by the owner of this motorcycle, who is my friend, is that the after-sales service of the Bajaj Pulsars in general, not the NS200, is very horrible. Now this is something which Bajaj really has to look into if they're planning to make their customers happy, because even I've observed that the after-sales service of the Pulsar 200NS are incredibly horrible. I mean, these people make you wait for a day or two to get your bike serviced, and not in any means they don't entertain you to push them to get your bike serviced and get it repaired faster, because my dad owns a Bajaj motorcycle, if you guys don't know this, and I've seen that after-sales services are incredibly horrible. So Bajaj, you really need to get your staff trained to get your bike serviced faster, because customers really don't like get delayed to get their bikes checked and get it back to them. The third point I hate about the Pulsar 200NS is that I felt, particularly with this motorcycle, I'm not sure if it's the case with all the Pulsar 200NS, that the fueling is really choppy and abrupt. I mean, when I get this bike started from the first gear, the bike doesn't just move in as smoothly as it should. It gives a little bit of jerk. The throttle is a bit jerky. I can really feel that the fueling is pretty inconsistent and choppy, and I really think that Bajaj has to, I don't know if it's the case with all the Pulsars, but I literally felt it with this particular motorcycle which is standing right here. So I'm not sure, but the Pulsar 200NS definitely has a lot of capability in terms of performance. It's a really good bike. The engine is pretty punchy. Even for a carbureted motorcycle, this thing can keep up to pretty good amount of speeds along with other fuel injected motorcycles in this category. So Bajaj, I hope you get all the problems of maintenance and engine and all that performance and stuff fixed on the Pulsar 200NS. Okay, now coming back to the fourth point which I hate about the Pulsar 200NS. See, we're living in 2018 where every motorcycle basically comes with really good hardware, but I don't know what's keeping the Bajaj Pulsar team to keep this happening from the NS200 series or the RS200 or stuff like that, because even in this day and age where every motorcycle gets pretty updated hardware, the Pulsar 200NS does not. And for a fact that I'm saying that this bike still is carbureted, doesn't get fuel injection, doesn't get dual channel ABS, doesn't get double overhead cam setups. I mean, the dual channel ABS technology has been present in the Apache RTR series ever since 2010. I don't know what's keeping the Bajaj Pulsar team from installing it in NS and RS series, even though it's like what, it's 2018. It's been more than a lot of years since the Bajaj Pulsar 200 was introduced to the Indian market. I don't really know what's the strategy of Bajaj behind doing all this, but I hope they install better hardware in this motorcycle. I'm sure they're doing it to keep the price of the motorcycle in check, because it will get a lot bit costlier if they install on these hardware parts, but it's something the viewers will be really happy about spending their money on. The fifth and the final point I like to say about what I hate about this motorcycle is that the maintenance of this motorcycle is pretty expensive. This is something the owner of this motorcycle particularly has told me, that the maintenance of this motorcycle is a bit more than it should be. I mean, the services and everything cost up to around 5k per service. That is paid service. The free services cost somewhere around 2 to 2.5k, which is a pretty which is pretty expensive. I mean, 2.5k for a free service costs a bit much, don't you think? I mean, for a regular customer who's buying this motorcycle, 2.5k for a free service seems a bit too expensive in my opinion, because my RTR 180's free service costed somewhere around 600 to 700 per service, and paid services comes to around 2k, and this is a whole lot more than that. This thing comes up to around 2.5k in a free service and up to around 5k in a paid service, which is really expensive. And that is just talking about the general services, not something really major. It's just about changing oil, coolant and stuff like that, chain maintenance and all that basic general stuff, which comes up to around 5k. Bajaj, I mean, I know your bikes are pretty good, they're pretty still pretty good to maintain and stuff like that, but the maintenance cost comes up to a pretty lot, which is shouldn't be the case, because a lot of people who are buying this bike are only buying it to have a lot of performance while keeping the price tag in check. But having a higher maintenance price tag will only keep the customers from choosing the decision of buying the Pulsar 200NS. So that was it about this short video. I hope I'm not defaming any brand by any means. If you're my avid viewer, you know that I love the Pulsar 200NS. I originally wanted this motorcycle as my motorcycle, but when I went to buy the motorcycle, it was not available in 2015. So I ended up having to go for the RTR 180. But I love this motorcycle, but like everything else, it has its own shortcomings as well, which I've listed in this video. So that was it about this short video. I'll see you soon in the next video. Take care, bye bye, and over and out.